Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com. And the topic today is how do you know if you'll need a 2x4 or some type of finishing Invisalign first, clear liners after phase one or IPE expansion? Doesn't matter if you're doing a Schwartz, an RPE, an IPE. If you're doing arch expansion, sometimes a couple things happen. Sometimes you get some extra spaces or weird distribution of spaces, or things might is if you do this early enough, like before the teeth all have come in. Usually when you create the space, they come in straight to begin with, but they don't always. I mean, the definition of straight might be like pretty acceptable straight. Granted, it's phase one and you're probably going to have a phase two anyways, and you can finish it later in phase two, as long as there's no major health problems, weird interferences, anterior cross bites, not blocking out a canine, it's not blocking out a lateral. It might be acceptable. So you have to really define what is your goal for phase one. Because remember, what is phase one? Phase one is fixing the bite in all three planes of space, right? Fixing transverse issues, fixing AP or sagittal issues, fixing vertical issues, as well as getting the front teeth out of any trouble that they might be in, be it anterior crossbite, anterior interferences, blocked out canines, blocked out laterals, and making sure you just generally have enough space for the rest of the teeth to come in. If you uprighting the curve of speed, that's phase one, right? So there's a component of phase one that is just cosmetic, which is, okay, we're not really having any problems with the front teeth, but mom notices that, upper left two is a tiny bit rotated, but there's space. It's just cosmetic. We could do it later. We probably will have to do it later. Well, that's just, that's optional. But you need to get to know your parents, because if that is their chief complaint and that's a component of it, well, then heck yeah, you're going to have to do some type of finishing. But if they're like, we don't care, we just want to fix the bite, but sometimes they're a parent that says they don't care and they just want to fix the bite, and you get to the end and then they notice something's a little rotated or there's a little gap, which is probably going to close on its own later, but they still want it fixed. So I would say this is the best way to think of it. Don't price it at the beginning thinking, am I going to need to do phase one braces or phase one aligners? You need to, at the beginning, let the parents know this might be something we need to do. We'll reevaluate it when we get there. It'll be something we'll talk about the pros and cons when we get there. So you don't want your pricing to be dependent on that. It should all be, a phase one price is a phase one price, whether you do braces, aligners is what I'm getting at the end or not. So if they choose to opt out of it, that's their choice. There's no refund to that. That's part of the option. They can choose not to do it. If it's not needed for health benefits, they can opt out of that. Sometimes in that situation, if the case was a little shorter than we expected and they chose to opt out of it, or if they just got lucky and didn't need it and the case went way faster, let's say the phase one was done in 7 months instead of 12 to 15 months, maybe what I'll do in that case is roll a small credit over to the parents, for phase two if they decide to do it later. Or maybe I'll offer them another, maybe they don't need retention now, but I'll offer them a free set of retainers once the teeth come in, just to hold them, all the teeth come in if they decide not to do phase two. Like there's all kind of things you can do, or a set of whitening trays when the patient turns 18. I don't know. You can do lots of creative stuff. So that's what I would do in this situation, and just say re-eval. And ultimately, you really can't predict. I mean, sometimes I'll have a pretty good idea. If the canines are high and dry, or the canines are a little bit tipped or possibly impacted, well, heck yeah, you're going to do phase one, because you're going to want to consolidate the spaces in the front, and then do probably a bonded retainer or a Thoreau, so that you can hold those teeth together as much as possible. Because if you finish the expansion and the canines are very high and you create nice spaces here and here, around the C's, sometimes when the C's fall out, if they fall out early, then these twos, or these 7 and 10, are going to spread back out into the spaces, which is why you do need retention, right? And I have a video on that, which is why you do want to use up the spaces to try to make as much space on the sides as possible. But sometimes if the C's are already dropping down, the C's are going to naturally smush those spaces up on their own, and you're not going to need to do phase one. So I know I kind of went in circles here and I said a lot of information, but ultimately it comes down to, we don't know. Don't factor that into your initial billing because you don't know. Don't give refunds because you don't know. Just say it's part of the package. If we both decide we need it, we will do it. If the benefits outweigh the risks and stuff like that, or if we feel that there will be benefits for it, it'll definitely be an option. We can decide that when we get there. So that's all I wanted to get at. Hopefully you guys got my drift. All right, thanks.